The country's two largest teachers' unions have poured tens of millions of dollars from its union dues into left-wing political organizations and causes, according to a parental rights group. Defending Education found the American Federation of Teachers and the National Education Association have forked over nearly $50 million to organizations with progressive causes and super PACs even for Democratic candidates. Joining us this morning to discuss is the Director of Outreach for Defending Education, Erika Sanzi. Erika, great to see you as always.
Hi, Jan. Good to see you.
Now, this revelation comes at a time when we also learned the president of the American Teachers Union was a key member of the Democratic National Committee. You know, she just quit her post there over the summer. So tell us what your group's investigation found when you followed the money trail into these unions.
Yeah, so we took a look at spending since 2022 and found nearly $50 million given to these far left entities. So essentially groups that are pushing and promoting a lot of the ideologies into schools that so many parents across the political spectrum find concerning. Gender ideology, critical race theory, heavy anti-Israel sentiment, queer theory, etc. And this was not only, nonprofits that are real focused on this sort of social justice ideology, but it was also explicitly political groups, raising money for specific candidates, etc.
And this is a teachers union where a lot of these teachers have no idea their money was going to these causes, right?
Oh, 100%. So it's like the taxpayer is paying the teachers, and then the teachers are paying dues to these organizations, not realizing that they're funding a lot of things. Now, again, some of the teachers would probably say, oh, this is great, I'm on board with this. But these are so far left that my suspicion is that most would either, most would be surprised, and probably most wouldn't be really down with this cause. I mean, we're talking about MoveOn.org, we're talking about the Trevor Project, we're talking about the Tides Network, we're talking about the 1630 Fund, which lives within Arabella Advisors.
I read even like a super PAC for Kamala Harris's campaign from last year. I read that was one of the places too.
Future Forward, which was the super PAC that with her campaign, as well as the Center for American Progress and the Democratic Governors Association, and like these entities. Like again, it's not, you have like that sort of like center left, and then you have that kind of far left where they're all in on these ideologies that have steamrolled into schools and that are really the reason organizations like mine exist. So I think that this was eye-opening to many, shocking to some, and then to those who've been following this for a long time, it was just further confirmation of how far left these unions really have gone.
Yeah, another big story that you guys are following is the National Council of Teachers of Mathematics. They're going to be holding their annual national conference, and you found some disturbing topics they're going to be talking about, with an emphasis not on math, but instead woke ideology. So why isn't a math conference focused on math? What's on the agenda?
Yeah, so what's funny about this is, number one, people often think that like math is safe, right? So some of those other classes, they might weave this stuff in, but math must be safe. Not the case. And certainly when people feel that they say woke is dead, I would say that when you have a conference of math teachers and there's a session that's called Reflecting on My Whiteness, or we have sessions about Black feminist pedagogy, and we have sessions about equitable math grading and affinity breakfasts for teachers, I think that there is reason to say, okay, some of the sessions are normal, but there's enough really sort of strange, weird ideological sessions that, again, it's not dead, right? We still do see this, I hate to say woke ideology, but it is a nice shorthand, this sort of social justice ideology that in it lives sort of the queer theory, the gender stuff, the racially divisive stuff, and the anti-Israel stuff. We see that even in a national conference for math teachers.
Yeah, and speaking of which, I want to get to this story very quickly, because New York City mayoral candidate and socialist Zohran Mamdani wants to find, quote, queer educational liaisons in every public school in the city at a cost to taxpayers to the tune of $3 million. What's the story here? What is this?
again, we have these deep-seated ideologies, right? And so he doesn't think that, right? He doesn't think they have enough of these this is what it's called, an LGBTQIA plus liaison. And he wants there to be one of those for every single school in New York City. It's unclear what they are, but because we know his views on gender ideology, we know his views sort of on this topic, it's easy to see that, again, this is going to be some sort of personnel involved in all schools that are going to be pushing and promoting this ideology that basically tells children that they get to choose their gender. And I think that most parents would find this appalling.
And probably don't even know it even exists. All right, Defending Education's Director of Outreach, Erika Sanzi, always great to see you. A lot more to discuss with some of these topics in the near future, as always. Great to see you. Have a great weekend.
Good to see you, Jen. Take care.